How's it going, everybody? I was going to do a segment on the top 10 cards in Standard rated by myself and my testing partner, Sasha. However, Sasha's been really sick the past couple days, so I was going to go ahead and do this segment on my own. So let's get started. At number 10, we have Falconwrath Aristocrat. There's actually a lot of cards that I really wanted to fit onto this list, and a lot of them were fighting for the 10th spot. I almost wanted to give number 10 to Olivia Voldaren. I think she's definitely more powerful, just with being able to mind control and become huge, but I really like how well Falconwrath Aristocrat battles with Restoration Angel, because I think that Restoration Angel is one of the best cards in the format, and we'll talk about that later. But the sacrifice a creature ability is also very relevant, being able to like Zealous Conscripts their guys, and like Zealous Conscripts their Thragtusk, bash with both of them, which would be 12 damage, and then sacking their Thragtusk, and then you get the Beast. And also being able to sack things like Geralf's Messenger to deal the extra 2 life, or if you're playing Blood Artist. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with her, and I've even seen people starting to play like Mark of Mutiny and just taking their guy and sacking it, which is also, very good synergy. So she's one of my favorites. I feel like she's one of the most aggressive cards in the format. Her and Hellrider are two of the best 4-drops right now, and I was actually very happy to see the Rakdos decks starting to play Hellrider. I think people have always known that Falconwrath Aristocrat was good, but for some reason zombies thought that the double red was too hard to fit in, but they started playing Guild Gates, and obviously it works because Rakdos has been doing very well lately. So I gave her number 10. Number 9, I kind of cheated. 9 I gave to Jace and also to Mio. I feel that it mainly goes to Jace, but I feel that Jace is always accompanied by at least like a 1 above a Tameo. I really like how well these two Planeswalkers work together, because Jace does an awesome job of shutting off the main card is Lingering Souls, but anything that's just a bunch of little dudes, and then obviously if they play something fat, then Tameo can deal with that. So Tameo can kind of tap down the fatties, where Jace deals with, the swarm creatures. So together they do a very good job of defending themselves. Tameo's ultimate is extremely powerful and not too hard to actually get off. Her -2 ability isn't used nearly as much, but her ultimate is devastating if it ever happens. Jace's -2 ability, I really like being able to play a Jace -2 him, and then -2 him again, and play another Jace and -2 that Jace. So he chains off of himself really well, which is why a lot of people are running him in higher numbers, and Tameo in lower numbers, because Tameo likes to stay alive, whereas Jace likes to kill himself. I think that Jace is one of the best card advantage engines in the format, along with Sphinx's Revelation and a few others. But as far as cards that actually just draw you cards, Jace is one of the better ones out there, and I think he's going to see a lot of play, even as we start to see Gatecrash and other sets spoil. The 8th slot, I also cheated. These are the only 2 slots I cheated in, but I just wanted to give the 8th slot to counter spells in general. Obviously, there's Negate and Dispel and all that, but so I had Syncopate and Dissipate as the 2 big ones here. But there's access to plenty of them in the format. Again, Negate, Dispel, Rewind, Essence Scatter, Dissipate, Syncopate. Not sure if I'm missing any. Bone to Ash, I guess. But there's a lot of them. None of them are... Well, I don't even want to say that they're not as good as Mana Leak, because one of the big reasons that the counterspells are so good right now is the exile clause in a lot of them, which is one of the reasons I actually don't really like Essence Scatter or Rewind, even though I know a lot of people like the idea of Rewind, because they're like, I could Rewind then play an Angel, but I don't know, I'd rather just exile their spell and have my counterspell cost less mana, but I guess to each their own. I like Syncopate because of how... Syncopate's probably my favorite one, because I know you generally have to tap out for Syncopate, but sometimes you do just catch them with a Syncopate for 1, like if they tap out for Sphinx's Revelation, or, they get to 5 and tap out for Thragtusk and don't have a Cavern. Just Syncopating for 1 and being able to do something else is really nice. Dissipate is obviously a little more consistent. but the mana cost makes it a little harder to play, so you have to be heavier blue. They're both very good. I think counterspells are one of the best answers to Thragtusk. If you are playing Thragtusk right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend you play Cavern of Souls, because there's no reason not to cavern that card into play with counterspells running around everywhere. And I know Rakdos is really popular right now, but Rakdos I don't feel is a very hard deck to beat. Like, people are just going to start playing more Centaur healers and more removal and more Thragtusk. I also feel that people got really greedy in thinking that, like, when that blue-white flash deck came out, and my friend and I were talking about this, how if everyone plays blue-white flash, then obviously, the zombie-esque decks are going to become much more popular. And I'm actually very surprised that Blood Artist hasn't seen more action, because I think the Blood Artist would do well in those matchups as well. But once people start to move back to Thragtusk, if they're forgetting their counterspells and whatnot, I think that these two are going to be a big player in the answer to Thragtusk, assuming they don't ban him, which I don't think they will, and I hope they don't. I like him. In the 7th slot, we have Craterhoof Behemoth. Craterhoof Behemoth is just about as big as you can go, creature-wise, and one of my favorite things about Craterhoof, and we've been playing Craterhoof since the very beginning of the season. We were playing Reanimator for a while, and I should do a deck tech on that deck as well. I'll do that at some point. But Craterhoof is amazing. He just wins games. He's amazing at taking down Planeswalkers even on his own. He's awesome to Restoration Angel. Like, if they play a Tameo and tap down your Thragtusk, and then you play Craterhoof and smash their Tameo down. I mean, if they just, like, I don't know, I mean, like, being able to Restoration Angel him and just literally threaten lethal, like, it's just going to kill them in one swing. He's very, very good. Anything with haste or flash right now is extremely powerful. Lots of people, Supreme Verdict and Terminus are both very popular, and also Thragtusk is just, I mean, if your opponent plays a creature, doesn't do anything and passes a turn, and then you play a Thragtusk, you're probably winning that creature battle. So that's why you see a lot of the cards that are popular right now. Thundermaw Hellcat I'm not a huge fan of, but people are playing it. Restoration Angel is a much bigger one. Craterhoof Behemoth is obviously seeing a lot of play. I kind of want to give an honorable mention to Zealous Conscripts, because I think that card is awesome. Even Falkenrath Aristocrat is amazing, so you kind of notice a pattern of haste and flash being in each one of those creatures, so Craterhoof is very, very good at catching your opponent off guard, and he'll steal games that you definitely don't deserve to win. In the number 6 slot, we have Angel of Serenity, and I know she has been getting less love lately, and I think it's because people are starting to figure out how to fight against her, which is good. It's good to see people figure that out, but I feel like this is going to be one of the cards that people will stop playing as much because everyone's playing their Ground Seals and their Graveyard Hate. And then all of a sudden, people will kind of get into this mid-rangey game of, or mid-rangey metagame of Magic, and Angel of Serenity is going to come back out of nowhere in a tournament and just take it down. She's amazing. She's extremely powerful. She works very well in multiples. Being able to, like, exile Thragtusk that have already died from your own graveyard is just amazing. Being able to play her against aggro and exile their whole board, so a card like Hellrider just isn't even really a threat anymore. She's a 5/6, so she beats Thragtusk in combat. She's very, very good. Her creature type is also very relevant, because being able to play Cavern, naming Angel, and then make your Angel of Serenity and also your Restoration Angel uncounterable is extremely powerful. This is one of my favorite cards. I think it's one of the most powerful kind of fatty angels that they've ever printed, and I expect her to keep seeing play even post Gatecrash.